I had a fan contact me, and he had said, "Hey, DG, you got to check this out from 5 years ago." And I'm like, like, are you sure that I do? And he was saying something to the effect about how Chris envisions PvP from a real old episode of Reverse the Verse, which we used to watch all the time. You guys remember? I don't know how many people in here that remember this, but we used to do Reverse the Verse all the time. And Around the Verse, and, you know, like, that's old school members. If you guys remember that, then you guys have been here a very long time. So let's check this out. Chris talking to Jared about PvP and how he's envisioning it. I have not seen it. The fan that sent it to me timestamped this. So let's check out what Chris's original thoughts on PvP are in Star Citizen, which is really interesting, because where it's timestamped it is talking about the economy, which, you know, pretty interesting that he's talking about PvP when the actual timestamp says economy. So let's see what our algorithm has found us. And that is Jared. Yeah, that's Jared, dude.
So for us, it was like, you know, it's all the same. And then in terms of the gameplay itself, like I said, it's you know, first off, it's not, this is like, a lot of people seem to think of Star Citizen as like PvP, there can only be one Highlander star, right? I put that in my letter. But it's not. I mean, it's yes, if you want to participate in PvP or compete with other organizations, we are going to put that gameplay in there. But the design of this is to have like 90% of the universe be AI, you know, like, you know, so actually most of your content in the game will be PvE, and it's certainly going to be fashioned in a way that if you don't want to engage in mano a mano or person to person, woman or whatever, whatever I should say, the appropriate.
Mad Style says Jared was 23 here.
Setup in terms of competition, you don't have to. And, you know, one of the reasons why I want 90% AI population is that,
what's up, Sage?
You know, the problem with PvP is there is always a winner and a loser, and both those people are players that have paid money for the game. And you know, not everyone is the best dogfighter, or not everyone's the best FPS player, or not everyone's the best trader, or whatever. So the great thing about AI is we can make AI of all levels. So no matter,
which the only level they have is the crap tier level. Sorry, I had to. We did 5 years later. Come on. Let's. Crap tier. We have all levels of AI. We have poop level, crap level, slightly less crap level, fart level, piss level. A lot of these issues with AI, when they're running under conditions that aren't server constrained, like if you were just playing this on your own in an environment where you were playing it without having to worry about the latency effects, like you would be like, wow, this is like, we watched that footage. You guys remember that when we were watching it and they were playing it without it being connected, you know, networked, and they were just playing the AI, and it was like the AI was doing crazy shit I'd never seen before. It was, you know, they've got a lot to work through with dynamic server meshing. They really, really do. But it was very fun to watch the AI operate under those variables. It really was.
So what? Even if you're a crappy dogfighter, you can still take down some AI pirates and feel like you're the man. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, I got him, I took him down. And so that's, I really want to make sure that that's there. So people can have a good time, because if you're only ever competing against other people, then there will always be winners and losers. And if you're someone that's not that great or don't have enough time to really practice up, it'll be a sucky experience for you and you won't play. So I want, you know.
And he'll probably talk about this, but this is the exact reason why systems have different security levels. So, you know, like Stanton itself is I think it's a lawful system. I'm not quite sure. Sorry about that. I've been playing this long and I can't remember if it's a lawful system. I know that Pyro is an unlawful system. So like in Pyro, It's like no holds barred. So there's going to be systems where you can PvP wherever the fuck you want. Like if you're a PvPer, there will be systems where you can PvP in it and have yourself a blessed time. I'm a PvPer. I love the PvP. I like winners and losers. I'm a hardcore player. I don't mind. I don't mind losing. It makes me a better player. Like there's a lot of people that don't like to play that way. Personally, I like pitting myself up against somebody else who's a PvPer and seeing if I'm better than the person. If I lose, hey man, I lose. I played sports as a kid. There were losers. Back in the 90s, you had losers. Now, not so much. Everybody wins today. But back in the 90s, we were hardcore. We could handle a loss. We took the L's, and we took those experiences, and we learned from it. And, you know, it created like a level of maturity and better decision making, if you will, to take those L's. You know what I mean? Like that, we could handle those L's. I played baseball. I played football. I was even in wrestling for a year and got my ass kicked because I had to wrestle somebody 2 weight classes above me who was crazy. He looked like goddamn King Kong Bundy, man. And he landed on top of me and I couldn't fucking breathe. And they were like, yeah, I was turning red. Motherfucker just laid on top of me like I was meat in some crazy like fat King Kong Bundy sandwich, man. Almost choked myself out, almost died under this dude. The guy just like fell on me, man. I was like, trapped under this motherfucker. And I got up and I punched him in the face. I was so pissed off. I punched him in the face, and then they yelled at my coach saying, what the fuck are you doing? Put me 2 weight classes up like this. This is your fault. You're the coach. Don't put me 2 weight classes up. What kind of coach does that? Fucking 8th grade, junior high, man. Junior high. This motherfucker was like 40 pounds heavier than me. Punched that motherfucker in the face. They threw me out. Everybody was yelling. Parents were like fucking pissed off. I was yelling at everybody. I'm like, fuck all of you. I quit. Fuck you guys. I'm done. I almost died because my coach is too stupid. Right. I know what, listen, I was even intelligent enough at that age to know what the fuck was going on in my real life. I'm like, my coach is inexperienced and stupid AF. And these motherfuckers here don't even realize what just happened to me. I almost died on the mat right here. And this motherfucker knew what he was doing because he laid on top of me. So I'm going to punch this motherfucker out. And I fucking laid him down, man. Right hook to the goddamn face. He was down for the count. I said, I win, bitches. Yes, sir. You're not going to hit me. Yeah. Count that one out. Count that one out.
People that, are fall into that category to have opportunities to go out there and have fun and whip
PvP,
up on some
man,
pirates
PvP.
or do whatever they want to do without having to be forced into head-to-head competition. And
it's my first PvP event.
Based on that side, then it's not head-to-head competition. The overall game. I mean, the game has that if you want it, has that if you don't want it. So
maybe
it's not all about getting. There isn't like this is the master of the universe person that you're going to get to, and we're deliberately building the gameplay to have gameplay for people that want to play lone wolf style or play with small groups or play with big organizations and fight over territories that want to be.
We know this. A lot of us veterans know what's going on here, and it's not just the AI in terms of the PvE. It's also in terms of the economy as well. It's in terms of the amount of AI under the covers due to quanta. If you saw how quantum works, Tony Z, where are you at? Let's talk economy, right? I think in 2024 CitizenCon this year, we better get some Tony Z. We better get some economy talk quick. That's what I want to see. If I don't see any economy talk in 2024 CitizenCon, you are going to see a very salty DG. Renaming myself Salty DG. Rename the whole goddamn channel Salty DG. If I do not see, you heard it here. If we get no economy talk, no 2024 CitizenCon economy talk, renaming the channel Salty DG 360 right now.
Doing sort of more.
Better talk about the economy in 2024.
Style, they want to like mine or farm or trade or something, or people that want to do more combat focused things like piracy or mercenary or bounty hunter, and we're building all those things to be in the universe and give you opportunities to do them on both a PvE and a PvP basis. And there will be areas where there can be crossover between the two, but it's up to you to whatever you're going to do. And in that case, I don't, you know.
You set your own win condition.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, and this is just how I want to play, how I would want the game to be,
gonna get
how
me
I
some
want
leather
games
gloves,
to be.
Wooksy?
And so it's completely reflecting how, as a player, I would like. And I think that there isn't. I don't. So based on those conditions, I don't see whether it makes a difference, whether, you know, I mean, maybe two organizations that want to go to war, they're all stressed about how many addresses they've got and all the stuff in the starting thing. But even in that case, it's like, it's not a sprint, it's like a long-term race. And, you know, there's
Marathon.
The opportunity to earn money in the game and even do things or earn items that you can't get outside is much greater. So, I mean, it would probably help if, you know, people just, I think, they base what they know from past games, or they theory craft, and they all get worried and concerned about it. But, you know, I know what we're building, and it's built in such a way that I mean, I'm truly aiming to build a game that hits these different spots. And, you know, I think it said in my letter, it has a really large tent for everyone, and it's like just a destination that you can just, it's up to you, you know, if you want to.
And the reason why it's very chaotic right now in terms of people's opinions of their gameplay right now experience is because everybody's confined to just Stanton. And the AI is sloppy, and the security, and the AI does not respond great. The security itself from AI is sloppy. A lot of people that just want the PvE, maybe not liking it so much, right? But when we actually get two functioning systems, one what's more lawful than the other, and the other one's more unlawful, you're going to see a lot more people stick in. You're going to see a lot more asses in seats once they get this delegated and done correctly. System security is 90% of the chemistry. This is really important to understand in game design. When you're designing an MMO and you want both PvE and PvP players, this is a challenging experience. Excuse me. And what you have to do is, if you're designing an MMO where you want to bring in both audiences, PvP and PvE, you have to make sure that your zones, you've got zones where everybody can PvP, zones where everybody can PvE safely, and then you've got to have the mix, and you've got to pepper them correctly. I think the one title that did it really good back in the day was EVE Online. You guys agree with me on that? Put ones in the chat if you guys actually agree with me on that. I think EVE Online back in the day with the system security really did separate PvE and PvP correctly. Yes, you had exploits in high sec. You had plenty of people in JITA, don't even get me started, that tried to exploit the system. But AI always responded very quick in high sec areas, and a lot of people didn't want to have to deal with the response that they got from the AI. So in terms of like separating PvEers and PvPers, I think EVE Online did it very good. And then you had low sec, where if you did something that was like a little bit more piratey, AI took a lot more time to respond. And then you had null sec, which was 0.0. And essentially it was all free, like whatever the fuck you want to do, which is where I spent a lot of my time. I spent a lot of time there. When I traded and I manufactured, I kept it around high sec and low sec. And then when I went into null sec, it was because I wanted that PvP action, and I wanted to base build, and I wanted to get people together and create something amazing. And it was fun and challenging, and you had to like plan when your freighters came in to supply you at your station, and you had to make sure that the neighboring alliances were friendly, or if they weren't friendly and you didn't have any good diplomatic relations with the players next to you, then you had to make sure you had patrols. You had to make sure that you were tactically on your game so that you weren't losing your assets. Pun intended. And that type of gameplay, tactical kind of gameplay, I loved it. I lived for it. I loved composing fleets. My type of gameplay was outfitting pilots with manufactured ships so that they didn't have to pay for them. Having mining crews bring in raw materials, refining them down, having traders that would go out and sell the minerals for profits, creating shares in EVE Online, distributing them to players and paying monthly dividends on those shares that they bought, getting funding that way, which was a wonderful system that they needed to expand upon. EVE Online share system was fantastic, but they needed to expand upon that. I love their share system. We brought in billions, multi-billions dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars from our corporations in our alliance. So much funding. And we would buy tons of ships outright. We would have manufacturers make them, and we would give you free ships. Like, that was one of our cool things. Like, if you wanted to join us, I would say, where do you want to work? And what do you want to do? And the player would say, hey, I'm thinking about being a miner. I'd say, okay, if you want to mine, you're going to mine in these areas. These are where they're safe and nullsec. What, like, do you like danger? Are you a miner that likes danger? Most of them said no. Most of them were in high sec. Okay, like, I understand. They didn't want to be bothered. They wanted to get an orca and click and just come back an hour later after they made a sandwich. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I got that type of gameplay. Good. Here's our areas in high sec, right? EVE Online had the perfect system when it came to, if you're a PvEer, you stayed in this zone. If you're a PvPer, you stayed in this zone. If you're a PvEer that liked PvP, oh my God.
Yes, sir.
My favorite player to assign a task or to get involved in making their experiences fun was when I had a PvEer that liked danger. Like, I loved when somebody came up to me and said, you know, I'm a miner, but I like a little danger. I want to mine the good stuff out in nullsec. Like, I want to mine the real good stuff. And I'd be like, ooh, you're my type of miner, right? Like, yeah, I like you. Like, you don't mind dying, right? Like, I love industrialists and traders that love PvP, that don't mind getting a little dirty. You know what I mean? Can I get an amen for those players?
Yes,
God bless
sir.
them.
Can I get an amen? Yes.
Those are my favorite types of players. I have so much respect for PvEers that love the PvP. I love them because so many PvEers don't get involved with it. And the ones that do, it's a special type of gamer because they love the manufacturing. They love the industrial side of things, but they don't mind if shit goes boom. And God bless them. My favorites. And we supplied everything. And you know what? If they didn't like it, we reassigned them and we gave them another ship to go somewhere else. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful system. I was so addicted to it. And the reason that I was addicted to it is because CCP supplied us with security. They supplied us with AI that responded. It wasn't the greatest. Nothing ever is in an MMO, but they had the magic Walter White recipe. They found out the perfect chemistry when it came to getting those systems split correctly and peppering the systems together in such a manner that the gameplay was emergent and dynamic, and it was such a fun time. They laid down that sandbox correctly, and we only have one system, and that's the problem. With Star Citizen, we got Stanton. Okay, when Pyro comes online and the bugs get worked out and smoothed out, wow, you're going to have some fun times. Because now you've got a system where you can be a deviant and not have any repercussions and PvP all you want if that's your jam, which I love that. And then you've got PvEers and hopefully upgraded security and AI in Stanton. I think they need to a little bit, honestly, if they want to keep PvEer base in. And once you get those two systems online and they're acting the way that they should, you're going to see the security that Chris is talking about from 5 years ago. 5 years ago. You understand? People are frustrated. It's been 5 years, right? I get it. Very valid, very understandable that people are frustrated that it's taken this long. But again, I want people to back up, take a breath, go touch some grass, and realize this game is the only title out there. These people are the only people out there trying to create tech that's going to give us a new experience. And I really want people to get that through their heads, that when you're in this, you're in it to win it. You're swinging for the fences, and they might not do it, but they're the only game in town that's doing it. There's no other. Name me one. Name me one. So while Star Citizen is an easy target, and you could say, oh my God, it's going to take 5 years before we, you know, it's taken 5 years and we don't have a second system yet, which is super valid fucking frustration. And it's the easy thing to do, to throw the poop on it. Just remember, they're trying to create something that hasn't been done. And it's perfectly valid criticism if you say that it's too long. The only thing that keeps me from fucking having a meltdown and getting completely irate is the fact that they're at least trying to do what is impossible in gaming. They're the only ones trying to do it. If you guys want to name me one other company that I can compare Cloud Imperium to, please let me know. If anybody lets me know, I will cover that too. There's a Web3 game called Star Atlas that a lot of people throw poop on as well, because people don't like NFTs and it's crypto bros and all that shit, but I'm very interested in it. They're kind of trying to do it. I love Unreal Engine. A lot of people would say, oh God, don't DG, don't talk about Star Atlas, but it's an interesting project. I like following it. I really do.
If you want to get up in it with other people, great. If you don't, you want to just chill out by yourself, you can do that. It's really just a destination and a home, and you make it what it is. And in that case, yeah, there should not be a concern.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for the fan that direct messaged me on X about this. Really cool to go back in the time machine and see this talk between Chris, his views on PvP. Very exciting to actually watch this. Like I remember these days, you know, this is a nostalgic moment for me. I actually remember this. I actually remember this talk. That's crazy, but I do.